Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's our last example. So go ahead and read through this, if you would please. Okay, so in this problem, what they're telling you, they've already given you the 95% confidence interval, okay? That's what this is right here, okay? And I'm going to write this down. I'm going to draw a little picture below here. So they've already given us the interval. So basically how this is set up is this. Here's your interval. Your lower confidence level, or excuse me, your lower confidence limit is 70.88 beats per minute. That is your lower confidence limit. Your upper confidence limit is 74.50 beats per minute. And what do you think is right smack dab in the center of that? Well, that's your sample mean. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, this is population mean. We're estimating the population mean here. But right at the smack dab middle is our sample mean. Now, we don't know what that is. But can you, ladies and gentlemen, meaning that since the sample mean is exactly in the middle of this interval, what does that tell you about the margin of error? Now, remember, this is the margin of error right here. From your lower limit to the mean and your upper limit to the sample mean. Those are your margin of errors. What do you know about those? Well, you're right. They're congruent. So really, isn't the sample mean just the average of these two values right here? So in other words, let's look at 1A. What is the mean of the sample? Well, the mean of the sample would be, since it's right in the middle of those two values, it's the average of our two limits. So to find the mean of the sample, you take your lower limit plus your upper limit and divide it by 2. So in other words, you take 70.88 divided, sorry about that. You take 70.88 plus 74.5 and divide it by 2, and you should get 72.69 beats per minute as our sample mean. That's what this is right here. That's our sample mean. Again, it's right smack dab in the middle of our confidence interval. That's our point estimate. Okay. Now, Part B says, what is the margin of error for this interval? So Part B wants to know what's ME, what's the margin of error? Well, there's a couple ways you can do this. Maybe, why don't you stop the video and see if you can figure it out yourself. All right, but basically we want to know what these values are. Well, there's two ways to find them. First of all, if we know what this is, then can't we just take our upper limit minus our mean, and that would give us this distance right here. Or we could take the mean minus our lower limit, we get the same thing. Either way, that works. Or you could take, and remember if you ever remember back to your algebra days, you can take your upper confidence limit minus your lower confidence limit and divide that by 2. In other words, find the distance or the length from 70.88 to 74.5, find out what that is, that total length of that interval is, and then divide it by 2. So if you do that, you take 74.5 minus 70.88 and divide that by 2. Well, the numerator becomes 3.62. So the total length, ladies and gentlemen, of this interval is 3.62 beats per minute. We're going to divide that by 2 because we want to know what's the margin of error. And that would give us the margin of error is equal to 1.81 beats per minute. Okay? So again, what is that? That's the distance from here to either your upper limit or the distance from your mean to your lower limit. And then finally, this goes back to what we learned in 3, on question number 3. If the researcher had scheduled a 99% confidence interval, would the interval be larger or smaller? Well, again, we are going from a 95% confidence interval to a 99. Well, you're increasing your level of confidence. that increases your critical t-value, which means your margin of error should also increase. In other words, it gets wider. You increase that level of confidence because you've got to, more intervals have to include the population mean, so therefore they need to be longer or larger. So your answer to C is larger. You increase the level of confidence, it makes your interval larger, or you could say wider. Okay? So that's it for the examples. So what I would like you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we've already done the student examples. That's what all the 4 examples were. Now, if you would like, I'd like you to do some practice problems and go to Learning Target 10.1 that should be in Google Classroom, and go ahead and start working on those. And I have the answer key on Classroom also. So if you go ahead and start doing those, if you have a question, text me, email me, call me, whatever, and I'll help you with that. Okay? Probably having an assessment probably on Thursday, like we did last week. Okay? Good luck, stay safe. If you need anything, let me know.